well. I'm your English teacher from IOS school and I'm conducting class 9. So, follow my instructions carefully. You should have your secondary stage English book 1 for class 9 and hold a pencil. You have to be attentive and during the class I'll share a screen with you and you have to take the screenshot and after the class you have to complete all the work in your fair copy. So today's topic of unit number 8 is people and places, and in 8.4 there is a writing summarizing a poem. So very first we will read the poem and then I'll explain the difficult meanings of the word. Alright. So there dwelt a miller, hale and bold. Dwelt means left and hale and bold means healthy and free from care. Beside the river Dee, he walked and sang from morn to night. Morn means the morning. No lark more blithe than he. Blithe means happy, and this the burden of his song, forever used to be. I envy nobody, no, not I, and nobody envies me. Thought wrong, my friend, said old King Hall. Thought wrong as wrong can be. For could my heart be light as thine, I'd gladly change with thee. And tell me now what makes thee sing with voice so loud and free, while I am set, though I am the king, beside the river tree. Here in this stanza, the free means free from cares and worries. Now let's see the third stanza. The miller smiled and doffed his cap. Doffed means removed or lifted the cap with grating. I earn my bread, quoth he. Quoth means said. I love my wife, I love my friend, I love my children three. I owe no penny, I cannot pay. I thank the river Dee that turns the mill, that grinds the corn, to feed my babes and me. Babes means babies. Good friend, set on and sight a while. Farewell and happy be, but say no more if thou'lt say true, that no man envies thee. The mealy cap is worth my crown. The mill my kingdom's free. What, what does it mean? Thy mill my kingdom's free. It means that your mill is so precious that it is equal to the price of my whole kingdom. Such men as thou are England's boast, O Miller of the Dee. So this is the poem. So as the topic shows that the poem is about the Miller of the Dee. This poem is written by Charles Mackay. He was a Scottish journalist, poet, and songwriter. He is famous chiefly for his songs. Some of his songs were very popular even in his lifetime. So, my dear students, this is the info about the poet. So, let's discuss about the poem. There are two speakers in this poem, the Miller of the Dee and the King Hall. The miller is a poor person and runs a flour mill. He actually lives a simple and happy life, while the King Hall is the very rich man, but his life is full of worries. The miller left beside the river Dee. The miller was thankful to the river Dee because it turned his mill that ground the corn. In this way, he earned his bread. So, my dear students, as I told you a little while ago, that the miller lived a simple, happy, and contented life while working in the mill. So he mostly was singing about that he enriched nobody and nobody enriched him. So one day the king told the miller that his dirty cap was more costly than his crown. His mill was of more value than his kingdom. The king further said that England could be proud of such men like the miller, and you know that the miller is happier than the king because he has no worries, whereas the king has many worries. So the main theme of the poem is that the wealth does not make a person happy. But a poor person who is honest, hard working, and contented is happier than a king. So this is all about the explanation of the poem, The Miller of the Deep. Now, look at here in exercise 1. There is the meaning of the following words used in the poem are given in the glossary at the end of the book. As you already know that at the end of the book there is a glossary. So here are some words, and you have to find out the meanings from the glossary that is present in your book at the back side. 12th, second word is miller, hail, bold, lark, lake, burden, envy, third, kind, thief, dove, fourth, sight, a why, thoughts, mealy, and boast. These words you have to write in your copy in the poem section, and you have to find out the meanings from the glossary that is present at the end of your book. Is it clear, my dear students? Now, summarizing a poem. That is the topic of today. What is summarizing a poem? Because you have to continue about summarizing a poem. So, summarizing a poem is actually to condense a poem to its main points and to do so in your own words. To include every detail is neither necessary nor desirable. Instead, you should accept only those elements that you think are the most important. I mean, the main idea and its essential supporting points. And do you know, many students make the mistakes of confusing summary with analysis. They are not the same thing because an analysis is a discussion of ideas and techniques, but a summary, on the other hand, does not require you to respond to the ideas in the poem because summary is not a substitute for the analysis itself. Here, it is very important to remember that a summary is not an outline of the points that the poet makes in order that the poet gives them. A summary is distillation of the ideas of the poem because it is actually a reconstruction of the major points beginning with the main idea, followed by the details that support or elaborate on that idea. Is it clear, dear students? So, you may be able to write a summary simply by paraphrasing the major points from the beginning of the poem to the end. However, for the sake of clarity, a summary should present the poet's point in a straightforward structure. In order to write a good summary, you may have to gather all the components of a poem in an organized way. There are many instances in which you will have to write a summary. So, my dear students, a good summary, you have to keep it in your mind that a good summary should be comprehensive, concise, coherent, and independent. I mean, you should isolate all the important points in the poem, then write all the points on the paper, review all the ideas, whatsoever you write on the paper, then include in your summary. Moreover, a summary must be concise. I mean, you have to eliminate repetition even if the poet restates the same points. Your summary should be considerably shorter than the poem. So, hopefully, you create an overview. Therefore, you do not need to include repetition of a point for every supporting detail. Now, dear student, it's a time to keep it in your mind that summary must be coherent. I mean, it should make sense as it should not merely be taken directly from the poem. So you are not being asked to imitate the poet of the poem that you are writing about. And on the contrary, you are expected to maintain your own words throughout the summary. And don't simply quote the author. Instead, use your own words to express your understanding of what you have read. After all, your summary is based on your interpretation of the poet's points or ideas. However, you should be careful not to create any misrepresentation by introducing comments of your own. So this is all about the explanation about the summarizing a poem, that what is summarizing. Is it clear, my dear students? Here it's a time to recognize that how many steps are there, or what are the steps to summarizing a poem. In the exercise 4, present in your book on page number 197, after you have orally discussed the poem, write the poem in your own words. This will be a summary of the poem. Very first point, find out the meaning of unfamiliar words. Number 2, look at the title of the poem to see what is it about. The third point we have, read each stanza slowly at least a couple of times and try to understand what it means. Read the poem as a whole to get the main idea. Now start writing the story, then begin by giving the title of the poem and the name of the poet. After this, write the key message of the poem. Then finally, write down the story in your own words, or you can use dialogue in indirect speech. Is it clear? So, before going on the slide of summarizing a poem, we have to look at the difference between summarizing or the paraphrasing, because most student makes the mistakes between the paraphrasing and the summarizing. So, very first, we have to come to know about what is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing a passage is similar to summarizing, but when you paraphrase, you restate the information in a passage in different words. It may be as long as the original passage, or it may not. It should cover the entire passage, not just a part of it. This is all about information or the explanation about the paraphrasing, that the difference between the summarizing and the paraphrasing. All right, now come on the second column. There is explanation or the info about the summarizing. The summary tells the most important things about an article's, books, or story. It is different from the main idea. The main idea tells what the passage is mainly about, in addition to telling what a passage is about. A summary touches on the passage's important points of events while leaving out details that are less than important. Hopefully, you got the clear understanding about the difference between the paraphrasing and the summarizing. Each paraphrasing a passage is similar to the summarizing, but when you paraphrase, you restate the information in a passage in different words. It may be as long as the original passage, or it may not. It should cover the entire passage, not just a part of it. This is all about the paraphrasing, and that is totally different against the summarizing. Why? Because the summary tells the most important things about an article, book, or story. It is different from the main idea. The main idea tells what the passage is mainly about. In addition, for telling what a person is about, a summary touches on the passage important points of events while leaving out details that are less than important. So these are the differences between the paraphrasing and the summarizing. So before just going on the summary of the Miller of the Dee, I'm going to repeat the poem and you have to listen it carefully. There dwelt a miller, hale and bold, beside the river Dee. He walked and sang from morn to night. No lark more glad than he, and this the burden of this song. Forever used to be. I envy nobody, no, not I, and nobody envies me. Thought wrong, my friend, said old King Hall, thought wrong as wrong can be. For could my heart be light as thine, I'd gladly change with thee. And tell me now, what makes thee sing with voice so loud and free, while I am sad, though I am the king beside the river Dee? The miller smiled and took his cap. I earned my bread, quoth he. I love my wife. I love my friend. I love my children three. I owe no penny I cannot pay. I thank the river deep that turns the mill that grinds the corn to feed my babes and me. Good friends at all, and sighed the while. Farewell and happy be. But say no more, if thoughts say too, that no man envies thee. Thy mealy cap is worth my crown, thy mill my kingdom's free. Such men as so are England's bruised, O miller of the deep. So here are the summary of the miller of the deep. Look into your slide carefully. The poem, The Miller of the Deep, is written by Charles Mackay. The writer conveys the idea that wealth and fame cannot make a man happy. A person who works hard and loves everybody can be happy and satisfied in his life. Charles Mackay tells the story of a miller, the miller of the deep. He used to work from morning till night. He kept singing a song while working. The theme of the song was he envied nobody and nobody envied him. A king happened to pass from there one day. He said that he was wrong because he envied him as the king was sad while Miller was happy. He asked the miller why he was happy. The miller replied that he earned his own bread with his hands and spent the money for his family. He led a contented life and owed nothing to anyone. The king said that his mealy cap was worth his crown and his mill was worth his kingdom. He also said that such men like him were England's pride. So this is all about the summary of the Miller of the Deep. As the topic already shows that the poem is about the Miller of the Deep, and this poem is written by Charles Mackay. He was a Scottish journalist, poet, and songwriter. He's famous chiefly for his songs. Some of his songs were very popular even in his lifetime. So, the summary is about the poem. There are the two speakers in this here, and the miller of the tea and the king. The miller is a poor person and runs a flour mill. He actually lives a simple and happy life. King Hall is a rich man, but his life is full of worries. The miller lived beside the river Dee. The miller was thankful to the river Dee because it turned his mill that grounds the corn. In this way, he earned his bread. So, dear students, as I told you while reading the summary, that the miller led a simple, happy, and contented life while working in the mill. He mostly was singing about that he envied nobody and nobody envied him. So one day the king told to the miller that his dirty cap was more costly than his crown. His mill was of more value than his kingdom. The king further said that England could be proud of such men like the miller. And you know that the miller is happier than the king because he has no worries, whereas the king has many worries. So the main theme of this poem is that wealth does not make a person happy, but a poor person who is honest, hardworking, and contented is happier than a king. So this is all about the summary of the Miller of the Tea. Please take a screenshot so it will be easier for you to copy down. Now, again, we have the second poem, A Mountain and a Squirrel. You have to listen or read the poem very carefully. A mountain was saying this to a squirrel. Commit suicide if you have self respect. You are insignificant, still so arrogant, how strange. You are neither wise nor intelligent, not even shrewd. It is strange when the insignificant pause as important, when the stupid ones like you pause as intelligent. You are no match in comparison with my splendor. Even the earth is low compared with my splendor. The grandeur of mine does not fall to your lot. The poor animal cannot equal the great mountain. On hearing this, the squirrel said, hold your tongue. These are immature thoughts. Expel them from your heart. I do not care if I am not large like you. You are not a little thing like me. Everything shows the omnipotence of God, some large, some small, is the wisdom of God. He has created you large in the world, and He has taught me climbing large trees. You are unable to walk a single step. Only large size, what other greatness have you? If you are large, show me some of the skills I have. Show me how you break this beetle, not as I can. Nothing is useless in this world. Nothing is bad in God's creation. So, this is the poem that you have to write in your copy. And what you have to do next? Simply, you have to write the summary of the poem, a mountain and a squirrel. So, again, I'm going to read out the poem. So, hopefully, you will get the understanding or you will get the pronunciation of the difficult words very carefully. A mountain was saying this to the squirrel: commit suicide if you have self respect. You are insignificant, still so arrogant. How strange. You are neither wise nor intelligent, not even shared. It is strange when the insignificant pose as important, when the stupid ones like you pose as intelligent. You are no match in comparison with my splendor. Even the earth is low compared with my splendor. The grandeur of mine does not fall to your lot. The poor animal cannot equal the great mountain. On hearing this, the squirrel said, hold your tongue. These are immature thoughts. Expel them from your heart. I do not care if I am not large like you. You are not a little thing like me. Everything shows the omnipotence of God. Some large, some small is the wisdom of God. He has created you large in the world, and He has taught me climbing large trees. You are unable to walk a single step. Only large size, what other greatness have you? If you are large, show me some of the skills I have. Show me how you break this beetle, not as I can. Nothing is useless in this world. Nothing is bad in God's creation. So, why I repeated this poem? Because you have to write the summary by yourself. All right. So let's see your home task. Write the summary of the poem A Mountain and a Squirrel. So, very first you have to make the title page of the summarizing a poem. All right. Then you have to make the topic or the title page of the middle of the day. You have to write the poem. Then you have to write the summary of the poem, the middle of the day, as I showed the screen, or you already took the screenshot. And then you have to write the summary of the squirrel, the poem I've showed you the slide a little while ago. Then you have to write the summary of the poem A Mountain and a Squirrel. Is it clear, my dear students? Hopefully you took all the screenshots as per instructions, and hopefully you got the clear understanding about the summary, that how to write the summary, what are the rules of the summary, what the instructions you have to follow just for writing the summary. So, wish you best of luck for your next class. Stay home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.